anybody and everybody can participate in the auction to purchase the property. To enter the auction process, it all happens online. To log into the platform, to get the ID or credentials to log into platform, you have to pay 10% of the reserve price, which is called EMD, earnest money deposit.
Okay.
EMD, earnest money deposit, which is 10% of the reserve price.
Okay.
If the reserve price of the property is 1 crore, then you have to pay 10 lakh to enter the
Auction
auction
process. Today, we have an interesting topic, something which probably you may have heard someone in your network having this particular act enforced on them, the SARFAESI Act.
Right.
So, Nikhil, please set some context.
Yeah.
What is the SARFAESI Act? Why does it bring fear down some people's spine? Why should an average consumer care about it? What should an average consumer know about it?
Right.
So just set some context first about what the SARFAESI Act really is.
Absolutely. So from a SARFAESI Act perspective, so we will today focus, out of the acronym SARFAESI, we will only focus on the ESI part of the acronym, which is Enforcement of Security Interest. Okay. So this enforcement of security interest comes into picture when a borrower who has taken a mortgage loan and defaults on it. Or defaults on a mortgage loan. So there comes the ESI part of SARFAESI. So otherwise it has multiple other aspects which we don't have to delve into because it's not applicable for a common consumers. We will only focus on ESI aspect, which is enforcement of security interest. Now, let me throw some light around this ESI aspect when it comes into picture and all that.
And why was this act even created? Can you give some context on the whole thing once?
Yeah, absolutely. Before the SARFAESI Act was introduced, the bank had to take the routes of civil courts. Bank had other debt recovery tribunals. There was some RDBMS tribunal where they had to try to enforce on their security interest, but it was a very slow moving process. So the whole idea of bringing SARFAESI Act is so the bank can enforce their interest on the collateral without even stepping into court. They don't have to step into courts. The bank themselves can straight away say that just by affixing one notice by the authorized officer, taking a picture, say that this property belongs to me.
So this was done more from the perspective of bank to be able to, in the long term, give out more loans because they'll not be hesitant then.
Absolutely. I mean, to cut down on the NPAs.
Right.
Or to, cut down on the turnaround time of the whole, enforcement or recovery process.
Right. So it was started in favor of the banks is what you're saying.
Big time. Otherwise, see, imagine if banks, require a year or 5 year or 10 year to recover one mortgage loan. If the turnaround time is so long, it will literally break the back of the bank.
Correct.
From a mortgage loan perspective.
Correct.
So if that
Which is probably
the case,
one of the most common kind of loans.
Yeah, most common and highly disbursed.
Correct.
Anybody and everybody has an aspiration to build a home. Have a home. So
that's how the SARFAESI Act was brought into being.
So if that is the case, bank will become more and more conservative and reserved in terms of disbursing a mortgage loan.
Correct.
No?
Yeah, it'll literally slow down the economy.
Absolutely. Then the supply will go up. Demand is also going up. But there is no, credit institution. There are no credit institutions which are, backing up the demand or the supply from a real estate perspective. That will literally hamper the entire industry.
Right.
Not everybody will have, 1 crore. From a today's perspective, we have to buy a house in Bangalore. You require at least 50-60 lakh rupees.
1.5 crore. 1.5 crore.
No, at least from a average consumer perspective,
right.
50-60 lakh rupees is basic.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And do you think this average consumer will have 50-60 lakh rupees cash in handy to purchase a property? Of course not. He has to be funded by a bank or credit institution. So if it takes 5-10 years for it to recover or enforce their security interest, they'll not fund.
Correct.
Absolutely. And this whole industry would go down
Collapse.
the drain. Yeah, absolutely.
So
There's no credit
SARFAESI
institution
Act
or
was
funding.
bought for this. So you were specifically speaking about the ESI Act.
Yes,
element.
enforcement of security interest.
So go ahead, give us a understanding of this.
Absolutely. See, in one liner, what I'm trying to say is without even entering or without even stepping into court, bank can enforce on their security interest. Now, the security interest here is the collateral. When I
Okay.
say collateral, it is the immovable asset that is there. Whatever it is.
It's the home, the real estate property.
Yeah, it can be a house, it can be a vacant site, it can be a commercial complex, or it can be anything that doesn't move. It's a real estate.
Okay.
So I'll to go in a step-by-step process. So once again, I'm coming back to the same basics. So you take a mortgage loan, okay, and if you fail to pay 3 consecutive months of EMIs, then account gets marked as NPA, non-performing asset. It's a huge red line. I'll also want to throw some light on a quick mortality. There's something called quick mortality. If somebody failed to pay his first EMI on his mortgage loan, they call it as quick mortality. I think if NPA happens within the 1 year of disbursing that loan, it's a huge red flag. Manager can get the one who has given loan or disbursed loan can get dismissed.
My God. Okay.
For quick mortality case.
Okay.
NPA happening within 1 year of disbursal.
Okay.
So it's a huge red flag for a bank.
Okay.
Now we all understand the NPA concept because we have spoken about it. 3 consecutive months of non-payment.
Correct.
Account gets marked as NPA.
Okay.
Now the enforcement of security interest will come into picture.
Okay.
Before that, the banker will call up the borrower,
Okay.
convince him, boss, this whole aspect will come into picture. We don't want to, enforce on the security interest.
Right.
You're a wonderful borrower. Can you please regularize the account, roll back the account so that we can have.
We don't have to do the SARFAESI
Yeah, we don't
nonsense.
have to enforce or the act or enforce on the security interest.
Right.
We can have a healthy relationship.
So this actually is in a way it is in detriment of the bank itself enforcing SARFAESI.
Absolutely. If you see, the bank's business is lending money, and bank earns only on the interest.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Via SARFAESI, they won't recover on their interest part. Right? No, I mean, see, they largely what they recover
They're
is
not
the
a real
principal.
estate company.
They're not a real estate company. One, they have to liquidate the property, and what they recover is less than the principal also sometimes,
Correct.
or equal to principal. What do you think they're earning after 1 year? If they liquidate the property, they're earning nothing literally.
Probably losing some money.
100% on their interest.
Yeah.
It's a loss. They're literally making losses on all these default
So
accounts.
first they'll attempt, okay, boss, we don't want to do this SARFAESI thing.
100%.
You please pay.
Let's maintain a healthy relationship. Please pay on time each and every EMIs for the term that we have agreed upon.
Okay.
Right? This is the case. Now, let's assume the account gets marked as NPA. Now, still, they try to convince. That's also not happening. And then then the ESI comes into picture. SARFAESI Act comes into picture, wherein the step 1 of the SARFAESI Act is serving a demand notice, which is section 13(2), the clause 2 of SARFAESI Act.
Okay.
Section 13, clause 2. Okay.
Demand notice.
Demand notice.
So what is this demand notice?
So this demand notice is all about bank is demanding from the consumer, asking him to pay the entire outstanding within 60 days. Entire outstanding, I'm saying.
So it's no longer into that legalization and
just to scare the borrower.
all.
So if they put the entire outstanding,
Okay.
he'll come running. Right? No, I mean so who can pay the entire outstanding?
Correct.
They can still regularize the account.
Right.
Regularization is absolutely possible.
Okay.
It's okay. They'll maintain what is the total outstanding that is there, total loan outstanding. That is also they'll represent. They'll demand the consumer, ask him to come and close the entire account. Now, at least if they demand on the entire loan closure, he'll pay at least that whatever 4-5 months ka EMI. That's the thinking, right? No. So within 60 days, if he has to come and pay the, if he comes and pays or regularizes the account, the SARFAESI goes out of context, right? So if he doesn't comply to a demand notice, then happens the symbolic, which is 13(4) of the section SARFAESI Act.
Okay.
So this is where I'm seeing
Symbolic. What is
symbolic possession.
symbolic possession?
Okay, this is where I'm saying bank can take possession of the property without entering the court.
Okay.
So the section 13 clause 4 of SARFAESI Act allows the bank to take possession of the property without entering the courts. This is the major, highlight of the SARFAESI Act.
Okay.
Now here exactly what exactly happens is the authorized officer who's representing the bank will go affix the notice, take a picture of it, okay, and tell the borrower that now symbolically this particular property is in the possession of the bank.
And not mine. It's
the
bank's.
possession of the bank.
Yeah.
If it's a vacant site, then we don't have to go to court.
Oh,
Right? No. Then the possession is done. That's it. Done and dusted.
Okay.
If it's a vacant site.
Okay.
See, the bank is going to courts as per section 14 of SARFAESI Act only because there are occupation.
There's
The
people
building
who
is
are
under
living there.
occupation.
Okay.
Yeah. So if they voluntarily come out of the building, submit the keys, they don't have to go to courts during symbolic itself. If they don't come out, if they don't voluntarily surrender the property, then they have to step into courts, wherein section 14 comes into picture
Okay.
of SARFAESI Act. Via section 14, bank can get a eviction order. The order clearly states that by taking help, the act also appoints a court commissioner,
Okay.
and it clearly states that by you take the support of the jurisdictional police
Okay.
and have the occupants evicted from the property, removed from the property.
And they can take help of police and do whatever.
100%. Not do whatever, they'll just evict. Yeah. As per the act, so on the day of eviction, there will be police, there will be a court commissioner who would be assisting the entire process, and there will be the authorized officer from the bank, and an agency would be assisting in all these people. Section 14, which is that's what I explained. After section 14, once the possession is done, bank will publish a sale notice.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sale notice. Bank will value the property,
Okay.
publish a sale notice.
Okay.
In that, they'll put a reserve price for the property. That's the base price of the property.
Okay.
As per the bank, that's the base price.
Okay.
Okay. And as per sale notice, they'll fix a date. It's a 30-day notice. In that 30 days, they'll fix a auction date. They'll also publish an auction date. Anybody and everybody can participate in the auction to purchase the property. To enter the auction process, it all happens online. To log into the platform, to get the ID or credentials to log into platform, you have to pay 10% of the reserve price, which is called EMD, Earnest Money Deposit.
Okay.
EMD, Earnest Money Deposit, which is 10% of the reserve price.
Okay.
If the reserve price of the property is 1 crore, then you have to pay 10 lakh to enter the
Auction
process.
Right.
Enter. Once you enter, you can bid. And if you are the only guy who has participated, then you can just raise some 50,000 rupees and seal the deal. The property is yours. See, after sealing the deal, within 24 hours, you have to pay 15%.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, as per SARFAESI Act. Okay. After that 24 hours, once you pay that 15%, in total, you have paid 25%.
Yeah.
The remaining rest, 75%, you get around 45 to 60 days.
Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah. So you can get a loan on the same property and,
refinance it.
not from the same bank, from the other
From
bank,
a different
wherever you
bank.
have transaction,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
get a loan for sure.
Okay.
Get a loan and you can purchase the property. So this is how the process works. This is how they liquidate the property.
Okay. So from start to finish, probably 60 days, 30 days, what 90 days or 90 days to one?
That would be I would say, see, demand notice is 60 days.
Huh.
And after that, symbolic happens. So
Symbolic possession.
symbolic possession happens. Once the symbolic possession happens, there is a, within 7 days, they have to do a paper publication.
Okay.
So another 7 to 10 days is gone.
Okay.
The same, whatever possession they have done, they'll publish in a newspaper stating that the so-and-so property is symbolically possessed by so-and-so bank.
Okay.
So that 10 days, so 60 plus 70. And section 14, you can assume that 60 days, another.
Okay. Good.
So 120 and 130 days.
Yeah.
So this is 4. You can say 6 months period.
6 months, they
6
liquidate
months.
the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. 6 months.